My name is Hal Turner, and up until July 30th of this year, I hosted one of the most controversial radio shows anywhere on planet Earth through my website, halturnershow.com. At the end of July, I was under so much pressure from the media, special interest groups, and the federal government that I just couldn't sustain the show anymore. They used every tactic possible to get me off the air because I was revealing information that they didn't want the public to know. Earlier this week, I published on my blog spot, which is halturnershow.blogspot.com, a story that the United States government shipped 800 billion AMEROs to the China Development Bank in preparation for the collapse of the United States dollar as a currency. I have one of the AMEROs from that shipment. This is an AMERO. Now, hopefully the camera can zoom in enough so that you can see the face of the coin. And now I'm going to turn it around so that you can see the reverse of the coin, because the reverse is really important. It says Union of North America along the top. It's got an eagle. Here it says 20 AMEROs. And what's most important, right down here below, is the letter D. That indicates that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint in Denver, Colorado. And what's even better is, on the front, at the bottom, look at the year. This was minted in 2007. This is one of the AMEROs that was destined for the China Development Bank. And the reason this AMERO currency has been shipped to China is because China presently holds about $2.5 trillion, with a T, $2.5 trillion in U.S. cash, thanks to our trade imbalance with China. Governments around the world now understand that the U.S. dollar is going to become worthless. It's going to get exhausted as a currency simply because the United States federal government is spending so much money that it has to borrow 80 to 90% of the savings from around the entire planet in order to fund its deficit spending. Governments around the world know that this cannot continue, and that probably within 6 months, I'd say, maybe by February of 2009, the United States dollar as a currency is going to collapse. In anticipation of that, the government of the United States has begun making a new currency, the AMERO. They plan on merging the United States with Canada and Mexico. And this AMERO currency will replace the U.S. dollar, the Canadian dollar, and the Mexican peso. So let me explain to you what's going to happen, how the U.S. dollar is going to collapse. At some point, the amount of money that the United States of America owes and the interest charged on that money will be unserviceable. We will reach a point where there won't be enough money in the entire federal budget to just pay the interest on the money we've borrowed. On the day that that happens, the Treasury Secretary of the United States will declare a force majeure, a force greater than they can control. And when that happens, that is going to be a repudiation of the United States debt. Now, most citizens will have no idea what it means when the Treasury declares a force majeure. But all the bankers are going to know, and the stock markets are going to know, and everybody around the world is going to try to dump their U.S. dollars. Within a matter of days, the U.S. dollar is going to be worthless because nobody around the world wants it. And when that happens, the Treasury Secretary will then demonetize the dollar. And what that means is that the dollar will no longer be money. So any of us that have any assets in dollars, savings accounts, checking accounts, IRAs, 401ks, other types of pension plans, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, anything that's denominated in dollars will no longer be money. And a whole bunch of us will be instantly destitute, broke, busted. And the government is hoping that there's enough panic in the general populace so that they can come out and say, look, the only way you can possibly hope to get any of your hard-earned money back is if you accept this AMERO as currency. And we'll give you, 2 cents on the dollar for what you used to have. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have in the works here is the most elaborate robbery, the biggest incident of looting in the history of the world. And the plan is that everybody who's a middle-class person, average, common working person, gets taken for all their money and is forced to accept pennies on the dollar for this new AMERO currency. They're bringing army units home from Iraq in case civil unrest breaks out, and it will.